Welcome to Business Line's State of the Economy podcast, where you'll find insight, analysis, and the story behind the numbers.
Hello and welcome to the State of the Economy podcast. We have with us Dr. Ashok Kumar Singh, a former director of New Delhi's iconic Pusa Institute. I am Prabhudatta Mishra. The industry fondly calls him Basmati Man of India since Dr. Singh has been associated with all the new Basmati varieties developed by Pusa Institute, starting from the Pusa 1121 when he was junior to the main scientist VP Singh. Before his retirement, he developed three key varieties as improvement from existing Basmati varieties by making those herbicide tolerant. Apart from his long experience as a breeder, Dr. A.K. Singh is also known for his close association with Basmati farmers. The association is so deep that progressive farmers, particularly in Haryana, Punjab, and Western Uttar Pradesh, can call him anytime for guidance, and he fondly accepts all the invitations of the farmers and visit their field whenever they need him. He spoke to Businessline on challenges before the nation to meet the food security requirement amid the aim to make India Viksit Bharat by 2047, and he also offered solutions. My first question to you, Dr. Singh. Sir, as you know that the government has been talking about a Vikasit Bharat by 2047, and you know that the population is likely to grow to 1.6 billion, for which we need to increase our food grain production close to 500 million tons. Currently, it is around 335 million tons. And horticultural production also needs to go up much beyond, close to 700 million tons. And you are also aware that our land area is limited, and in fact it is shrinking because of the urban population, because of the rural population. They also need the habitat to live. So with this kind of a challenge, how do you see we will be able to meet this challenge, or we need some big reform or big change which will make us to be self-independent even by 2047?
Thank you, Prabhuji, for raising these questions. Very pertinent, actually, they are. That we know that our population is going to grow by 2047 when we aim to have Viksit Bharat by that time when India's independence completes 100 years. The food grain production has to increase to almost 500 million tons and horticulture production to close to 700 million tons. And also, he rightly said that the area under cultivation is not going to increase, it is rather going to shrink. So the challenges imposed by the climate change, the adversities, they are going to be a major deterring factor in enhancing productivity. And therefore, I think the only way we can meet the challenges are the technological innovations which have happened, which are taking place, and which will take place in times to come. And those technological innovations, cutting edge science and technology, use of a smart agriculture, these are the things which are going to really play a significant role in enhancing productivity vertically. Because area is limited, we cannot increase the area. If you look into the last 10 years from Indian Council of Agriculture Research and National Agriculture Research System, almost 2,900 varieties of different crops have been developed, and this includes a good number of varieties, almost 2,666 varieties which are climate resilient. So climate resilient means the varieties they can perform under drought stress conditions, under high temperature stress condition. Also, if there is water logging in those situations and insect pest diseases infestations, if that happens, these varieties will be able to tolerate those stresses. Looking into the nutritional requirement of the country and also alleviate the nutritional hunger or hidden hunger. The government has a very focused program through Indian Council of Agriculture Research on development of biofortified varieties. And in last 10 years, 152 biofortified varieties have been released. These varieties are the varieties with elevated levels of micronutrients, particularly iron, zinc, provitamin A, folic acid. So now there is intensive efforts being made to upscale the production of these varieties and also mainstreaming these varieties into public distribution system, into midday meal, so that the problem of malnutrition can be handled. And these varieties have been developed across crops. We have varieties, for example, in case of maize, we have varieties which are rich in lysine, tryptophan, provitamin A, wheat varieties which are rich in protein, iron, and zinc, rice varieties rich in protein and zinc, biofortified varieties have been developed. So in almost all crop, we have got these varieties. The other, considering these challenges, the research priorities for the National Agriculture Research System has been aligned to address the developing climate resilient technologies and varieties with major focus on self-sufficiency in pulses and oilseeds. These are the two crops where still we are not faring very well. Pulses situations has improved from almost 16 million tons in around 2017. And now we have improved production to almost 26 million tons, but still we are importing some quantity of pulses. We need to focus on that. And then oilseed production.
Sir, I want to interrupt here.
Yeah,
you
please.
talked about technological innovations, right? Then you are talking about making the country self-sufficient in pulses and oilseeds. You are aware that a few days back, the agriculture minister made it very clear that there is no scope for GM technology as of now, till the matter is sorted out. So, because there are objections to it, and now today also he has tweeted this about. So, where do you see India's technological innovations to come from? If the technology which is available in the world is not allowed to be applied here, how do you see the researchers, agriculture scientists will cope with this kind of a system?
Right. So you have raised a very pertinent question again, I must say. But we must realize that you see currently out of the total edible oil that we are importing, close to 3 million ton is soybean oil, right? And the soya oil is being imported from the countries like, we have Brazil, Argentina, and US. And if you look into the soybean cultivation, all these three countries, 100% area under soybean cultivation is based on GM technology, particularly herbicide tolerant, because the productivity of soybean in India is about 1200 kg per hectare, while world average is 2500 kg per hectare, and the world best, for example, in the US and Argentina, Brazil, even up to 4500 kg per hectare soybean yield is obtained. So the point is that we are already importing the soya oil from these countries, which are being consumed for last many years without any ill effect or adverse effect. But of course, you are right that this matter is still sub judice, and the decision has to happen in the apex court. But we have innovations in the field of genome editing, and as you know that the government of India has come out with the standard operating protocol and also the guidelines for genome editing in crop plants, and two methods of genome editing. One is called SDN1, site-directed nuclease 1, and site-directed nuclease 2. So if the products are developed using these two methods of genome editing, the product will be called as non-GM. It is not treated as genetically modified. Genome editing is a very important and powerful tool, and I must tell you here that Indian Council of Agriculture Research has invested on a mega project on genome editing, almost 500 crores, including crops, horticulture, post-harvest traits, also animals and fisheries section. In crops, about 310 crores rupees has been allocated for genome editing across crop for multiple traits. And these products in times to come is not going to take much time in the near future. We are going to address many challenging problems through genome editing, and that will be non-transgenic approach. So that is one aspect when we talk of genetic manipulation, where genome editing can come for rescue in the immediate future. But in addition,
you want to say that in the absence of allowing GM technology here, we can take recourse to genetically gene editing.
Gene editing, yes.
Right.
That's what precisely I'm saying.
Right.
And so there are many problems that can be addressed through genome editing.
And another things are related to this technological innovations. Sometime back, ICAR announced that they want to do some public-private partnership kind of thing, so that the private sector, the industry, placed their requirements with the public institutions, and accordingly research is carried out. Then some objects came on this, and probably that plan has been shelved now. There will not be any this kind of a joint research thing happening. Only whatever has been happening so far, very minuscule level, is public research, though it is coming through private sector requirement, but that is very limited. So in this kind of a handicap, and at the same time, you can see that the research budget of ICAR is very negligible, because whatever budget has been provided to the institution, the maximum part goes for salary and administrative expenses. So in this kind of an atmosphere, how do you see the technological innovations to come through? 500 crore is no doubt, when there was nothing happening, 500 crore may be looking good. But in a country like India, where we need innovations at many levels, how do you see the agriculture scientists to cope with this kind of a handicap?
Well, I must say that, investment in agriculture, when we talk about, generally one would expect about 1% of the agricultural GDP contribution to total GDP should be invested in agriculture research and development, which is most of the developed countries are doing. And we aim, for Viksit Bharat, and government is increasing grant. Absolutely, there is no doubt about it. You see, 500 crores for genome editing, just one project, I said. In addition to that, there are a number of other projects. For example, there is a project network program on precision agriculture, which budget is about 300 crores. So that's about smart agriculture, bringing all the technology together. As far as partnership with the private sector, you said there are multiple opportunities for partnership. And also, one has to see that the private sector has to align the research agenda of their companies or their sector in line with the priorities of the government. Now, this is where I would like to say a few words about the fact that, you see, two crops, rice and wheat, they are key to food security of the country. We produce annually about, say, 125, 128 million tons of rice and about 110 million tons of wheat. So this makes about 250 million tons. Now, this is coming primarily because of the investment from public funding. There is no investment on R&D in rice and wheat, and also in the crops which are highly self-pollinated like pulses. It is 100% contribution from public sector funding. All the varieties in pulses, they are coming from public sector research. So is the situation in IRC, where the research focus from private sector is primarily concentrated on the hybrid crops for high productivity areas, where there can be maximum remuneration by the seed sale. Now, as a corporate social responsibility, I would say that private sector has to make major investment for research and development in even self-pollinated crops like rice, wheat, which are key to food security, pulses and oilseeds, which are in the priority of the government. So even if they have to do independent research, these crops must find an important agenda in their research program. But there are many things where partnership is happening, and there is no to partnership as a matter of fact. For example, number of technologies which have been developed by private sector, public sector, upscaling those technologies. Recently, for example, we developed herbicide-tolerant basmati rice varieties, which are key for sustainability of rice production system. For direct seeded rice, we need herbicide-tolerant technology because direct seeded rice suffers from weeds infestation very badly. While when we go for transplanted rice, we are about 3,000 liter of water is required for 1 kilogram of rice production, and this way rice production in north-western plains, particularly Punjab, Haryana, Western UP, cannot be sustained. So we have to shift to direct seeded rice. It also reduces the labor cost. It also saves water 35% and 35% less greenhouse gas emissions. With all advantages, the problem only was the major weed infestation. So we developed herbicide tolerance technology, and this is one example I must say loudly that where after developing this herbicide tolerant rice technology, major companies in India, multinational companies like Corteva, like other companies, Bayer and Nujibidu and Bayer Seeds, they have come forward to take the technology for deployment in their proprietary material. While most of these innovative technologies were generally coming from private sector, but this is for the first time that the public sector came out. While we are deploying in public sector bred varieties with no restriction, that we are doing an upscaling production. At the same time, private sector is also taking technology to develop the varieties ready for direct seeded rice cultivation. So I think the partnership is key to success. It is going to happen. There are minor hiccups here and there, and those things definitely will be taken care of. But my plea to private sector is that they should align the research priorities, their agenda, with the government priorities and what country needs, not where they can make maximum money. So this is one point I would like to say. The other technological innovations, if I can go ahead, and I would like to mention, is, I said the research priority of government is on climate resilient varieties and technologies, self-sufficiency in pulses and oil seeds, smart agriculture using digital technology, crop diversification, and low carbon and low energy footprint of agriculture. So this is very key areas in which we are working. And when we come to digital technology in agriculture, there are a number of ways we can use digital technology in agriculture for enhancing the efficiency. One is for precision agriculture, where we use information communication technology, artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, data analytics, remote sensing. And this is for variable rate application. For example, the nutrient that we apply in field, for example, only 30 to 40% nitrogen is utilized and rest is wasted. The nitrogen use efficiency is 30%. Likewise, phosphorus use efficiency is 25 to 30%. So what 70% is being wasted, how we can enhance the efficiency of that use through digital technology, using the sensor, IoT-based irrigation system, then we cut on the cost of the nutrients and we make better use of these nutrients. Agriculture knowledge management system. There are 75 agriculture universities in the country, 113 ICR institutes, the entire database at one place. Today, if you want to book a airline ticket in world anywhere, you can do it from your mobile. Likewise, our farmers sitting anywhere in the country, if they want to have the knowledge about technology from one single app, wherever it has been developed in the country, that kind of agriculture knowledge management system has to be in place so that farmers get access to information easily. Then rapid sensor, remote sensing based soil health card. You see, one of the limitations in generating soil health card currently is that the soil health card is based on wet lab chemistry. It takes time, it takes a lot of expenses, and our unit for measuring soil health card is 4 hectare, one health card for 4 hectare land. But we know that our land holding, almost 86% farmers are small and marginal with less than 1 hectare holding. So having a soil health card on 4 hectare will not really suffice the purpose that you can go for site-specific nutrient management. Now, using digital technology based on sensor and drone or satellite imaging, soil health card can be generated, and then we can have precise soil health card for every square meter of land, and then only the specific variable rate application nutrient where it is required, it will be given.
Sir,
Yeah.
one thing is about this kind of technology, as you said, mentioned about precision agriculture, and you also mentioned that 86% of the farmers are marginal, having 5 acres or less than 5 acres of land. So, how economical for a farmer having 3 acres, 5 acres of land to utilize this kind of technologies? Will he be able to adopt those technologies and still he will be able to produce for the I mean to say his income will be sufficient to maintain his family for 1 year? Because
So I
also
think
you are aware that 45% of our land is dependent on monsoon rain.
So I think this is a very important question that you have raised, and this is the key difference in using these kinds of innovation in IT and information technology sector in large land holdings in countries like Australia, US, and Canada versus India. So we have our own challenges. There is no doubt about it. But I will cite you a simple example. For example, even if a farmer has got 1 hectare land, now, if we cite one example, the insect brown plant hopper in rice, it comes at a specific pocket in 1 hectare in a concentric ring. Now, by remote sensing with sensors, if you can find out where hopper has established itself by a forewarning system, then next time when drone goes for spraying insecticide can be sprayed only at that location and control it very effectively so that you don't need to spray the insecticide in the entire 1 hectare field. Right now, when we spray in the entire field. As a result, the cost of insecticide or pesticide increases, the residue problem comes, and the quality of produce because of residue goes down. Now, when you said with the small and marginal holding, how we are going to address this problem, the custom hiring centers will play an important role. And then second, as government has major priority of having the FPOs, farmers producers organizations, where, for example, if a group of 500 farmers join hands, they may have a small holding, but they may have contiguous land of a village, 500 acres, 1,000 acres. And if they decide to have just one variety cultivation in the whole area to meet the requirement of a particular buyer, which can be settled in advance, then if variety becomes uniform, then management practices, everything becomes uniform. And then through custom hiring centers, these facilities can be made available to farmers. Every farmer need not to buy drone for application of insecticide, pesticide. Today, for example, you tell 100% harvesting of paddy and wheat is taking place by combine. But every farmer is not owning combine. Combines after harvesting Punjab and Haryana, first combines go to Gujarat, to Madhya Pradesh. After harvesting that, they come to Punjab, Haryana, and these are combines owned by Punjab farmers. And then they harvest in Punjab, Haryana, then they move to Western UP, Eastern UP, up to Bihar, West Bengal, and the things are happening. So I think it is possible to organize the production system in such a manner through the formation of FPOs, custom hiring centers, and linking it with the market system. We should be able to produce economically. The productivity level can be enhanced, and even small farmers will get benefit.
Sir, again, if we come to this question, you know that there could be FPOs who can mobilize all these things. But if you look at the custom hiring centers, again, they are dependent on government subsidy because there is a scheme which is giving these custom hiring centers machineries at subsidized rates. They are able to get those. But how much effective those are in the ground we are yet to see such results. On the other hand, small private sector people who are mobilizing these machineries and they are renting it out, they are more successful. Even some companies have started doing the same thing.
You're right. You're right.
The Niti Aayog said that the public investment in agriculture is very high compared to some 5% by the private sector. So unless and until we see private sector investment, which is again related to the profit making, unless there is a profit, they will not invest. So how you see this is to spread across the country, such technologies, the adoption of such technologies, they are good. But
Right.
how you
So,
see this
so
can be possible to make it adopted by every farmer?
right. So, Prabhuji, as you said rightly, that there is no problem with the technology. Technology
Yes.
is soundproof, technology is perfect, technology is devised to address the problem. It is the problem at the implementation stage. If our custom hiring centers, which have been established with the government support, if they are not working properly, then there is something wrong in the system that needs to be corrected. And I think government is taking care in this direction. Private sector is also coming out with their own custom hiring center. If the government established custom hiring centers do not get in place, see, ultimately it will be moving towards the private sector custom hiring center. So the government is working hard, and whatever lacunae are there, because the facilities, equipments which are provided, they have to be provided need-based. What is required for the custom hiring centers, those equipments have to be provided. Another anomaly that has been, like, I have been interacting very closely with the farmers, very closely on day-to-day basis. And in all these custom hiring centers, one problem that farmers have been saying is that although support is coming from the government, but when you buy the machinery, the cost is almost double. When you buy the same machinery directly from the vendor, it comes at half a cost. And when you buy through the support system, then the cost increases double. Now, that is the problem of the system. That system has to address. The government has to address. Local government, state governments have to take rope in and address to these problems.
Do you feel that ICAR needs to do more as far as making the technologies available to the farmers, making its publicity more? Because you talked about the biofortified varieties, which are available already, 152 varieties. And we have simultaneously a scheme running that is fortified rice, where artificially vitamins and irons are added into the rice by the rice millers in their factories and getting distributed through PDS. You have, if all the biofortified varieties are available, why are those not getting cultivated at the ground and getting it supplied through PDS?
Right. So I must tell you that, you see, in 2014, there was only one biofortified varieties. And in 2024, now you have got 152 biofortified varieties. The varietal development process takes time. It is not a system like fortified rice, where you take broken rice, make flour, and then make dough out of it, add iron, zinc, and folic acid, and then use a extrusion machine through which you print the grain of rice exactly identical to whichever rice variety you want. Now, this is a factory thing. But developing varieties is a biological process, and to develop a new variety takes at least 7 to 8 years of time. Now that during this period, a large number of varieties have been developed, and these varieties have come up in past 3 to 4 years. And there is a seed system which requires, nuclear seed, breeder seed, foundation seed, certified seed production. And I must tell you that in case of wheat now, almost 50% of area has gone to varieties which are biofortified with particularly zinc level, high zinc level, the biofortified varieties in wheat have reached. So we have to see that this biofortification also happens with the higher yield, because if there is yield penalty, then farmers will not go unless there is a system by which the biofortified varieties have to be paid differently. They cannot be subjected to the same minimum support price. they have to be valued also for the nutrition that they carry. So this is another important point that we have been, in fact, raising at different forums. For example, if you take a tablet of Ginkova, zinc tablet, which has got 30 milligram of zinc, and the cost of tablet is 6 rupees. It takes about 20 paise per milligram of zinc. But if you have a Bajra variety, where zinc level has increased from 30 milligram to 60 milligram per kilogram, so additional 30 milligram of zinc at 20 paise is almost 6 rupees per kg is the value of zinc that is added. Now, if so much of nutrition that is added for which the consumers will pay for it, so therefore the farmers who is producing this biofortified variety, whether it is in wheat or bajra or rice, they should also get payment related to in context of nutrition. And that is where our focus is, that we should try to develop varieties which are biofortified. Along with that, they also have high yield, so that farmers at least doesn't suffer any loss. So this is happening, and now wheat, we are in forefront. Rice also, it has picked up. Other varieties, they will slowly come in the market. So they are being mainstream by different programs.
So you made a valid point that biofortified varieties are there. Farmers should be accordingly paid remunerative prices for those varieties.
Yes, I feel strongly, because they carry additional nutrition. They are not just carrying, like normal varieties which have got carbohydrate or something. But if they have additional nutrition, nutrition is variable, and for that there should be additional provision.
So do you see that should be a possibility that CACP should look into it while fixing the MSP? It should be linked with nutrition also?
So it is a policy issue, but I think it should be really looked into, because you see, when the biofortified varieties, you see, a stage may come in future where all varieties are biofortified. At that stage, it may not be necessary. But right now, when we have some are and some are not, then in order to promote these varieties, we need some kind of incentive for the farmers, for the producers, because ultimately the benefit these varieties are going to provide is a lot in terms of alleviating nutritional hunger.
Okay. Now, sir, we come to the crop diversification part. Let's see that Punjab and Haryana, everyone has been talking about crop diversification for a long time. But due to the problem with production or demand increase, whatever be the region, there has been a complaint from the flour milling industry that the availability is not much as wheat is concerned. Government has been maintaining that the production has been going up, but if you look at the demand side, a record 100 lakh ton wheat was sold by the government from FCI stock just in the open market in 1 year. So it shows that the demand has probably gone up, which has not been recorded, and it has not kept up with the production has not kept up with the demand, or the production was really lower. Whatever be the reason, government has banned wheat export and it has not yet been allowed. Recently, the rice export was banned for more than 1 year. Just a few months back. How do you see the necessity of crop diversification when the country itself is not sure whether it is surplus or not?
Well, I think I must say here that when we are talking of diversification in rice wheat cropping system, the major culprit in this cropping system, which is a substantial area, about 12 million hectare rice wheat cropping system, the major culprit in this is rice, and particularly when we talk of northwestern part of India, Punjab, Haryana, western Uttar Pradesh, part of Rajasthan, where rice is a culprit in terms of being a water guzzler crop, in terms of being a greenhouse gas emitter, in terms of being highly labor intensive. So all the diversification programs are focused in diversifying from rice to other cropping system, not touching on wheat. Wheat will remain there. Wheat is not an issue. Now you see, for example, in Punjab, Haryana, there are two cropping systems. One is rice wheat cropping system, other is cotton wheat cropping system. Because of cotton becoming non-remunerative in past few years because of pink bollworm infestation, the cotton area, substantial area, about 6 to 7 lakh hectares, which used to be under cotton cultivation, has been diverted to rice. So rice area has increased at the cost of cotton. So we are talking basically for diversification of rice to other cropping system, and the opportunities which I see which can be available in near future is one very important area is that of maize for bioethanol. We all know that by 2025 we have to have a target of 20% blending of bioethanol in the petrol, and now rice, as you rightly said, was under ban for export for some time, particularly non-basmati rices. But also there is a ban on use of rice, which was earlier used for ethanol production, broken rice. So that is banned. Now the second among the grain crops, maize is a very potential crop, which comes under Kharif season, which can be grown in place of rice, which can be grown in all those areas which are not suffering from water logging, because maize is sensitive to water logging. So in Punjab, Haryana, we have sufficient area, almost 50% of area can be delineated where rice can be changed to a crop like maize, and maize hybrid productivity, well proven productivity of 6 to 7 tons per hectare is available, those hybrids for Kharif season. We are also working specifically on developing maize hybrids which are especially meant for bioethanol, where bioethanol recovery is more. For example, if you take rice bioethanol recovery, it was 430 liters per ton of rice. But in maize current day hybrids, the recovery is 370 liters only. Now we have waxy corn hybrids which can have higher recovery up to as good as rice, 440 liters per tons of grain. So,
but sir, again here, if you are talking about reducing the rice production in Punjab, Haryana by half, how that will be compensated? Will not be there will be a shortage of rice in the country, where the extra will come from to compensate those?
yeah. So, I mean, it's not going to happen overnight. It has to happen in the phased manner. When I say 50%, 50% cannot happen immediately, because first we have to have our mature technology in terms of maize, which is as remunerative as that of rice for the farmers. Other alternative, I will come to your question shortly later. Let me also complete one more option which is available is soybean in northwestern part of the country. Soybean, you see, currently it is being cultivated in central India and particularly Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, Maharashtra. But their soybean duration is limited to less than 100 days only, because after soybean, on the same residual moisture, wheat sowing has to be done. So there we cannot increase soybean duration. And that's why the soybean productivity, because of short duration varieties, is another factor for low productivity. In Punjab, if you bring soybean, appropriate kind of genetic material varieties, we can have a duration of 130, 135 days easily without affecting the next cropping system, that is wheat. And soybean productivity can be targeted to about 25 quintals per hectare. So maize, soybean, these two. And then third, I said in terms of water guzzler rice crop, focus on shifting to direct seeded rice. Again, in phased manner. With herbicide tolerance technology, it becomes important and available. But whatever area is taken out of rice cultivation from northwestern India, that production has to be compensated by enhancing productivity in the other part, where there is no option, only rice can be grown. But their rice productivity, for example, in whole of eastern India, in Bihar, in West Bengal, Chhattisgarh, their productivity is suffering because of climatic factors, non-availability of water, critical irrigation, which is available in Punjab, Haryana. You can always take up. So whether rain happens or doesn't happen, but your transplanting of paddy happens on time, which doesn't happen in eastern UP or Bihar. Their nursery farmer has raised, and if rain doesn't come, then nursery becomes old more than 40 days, 50 days, and he's not able to take transplanting. Now, these kinds of minimum investment in terms of developing irrigation infrastructure can be very, very critical in those areas, and rice productivity can be taken as high as that of Punjab. There is no doubt about it if those critical irrigation, etc. facilities are made. Second, as I said that about 2,660 varieties which were developed, they are climate resilient. Now, climate resilient varieties are varieties that can grow under less moisture. They can grow under submergence conditions, under drought conditions, under heat conditions, and more such varieties becoming available. I am sure that rice productivity in eastern part of the country, in Bihar, in West Bengal, Odisha, and Chhattisgarh will improve, and those rice belt should be able to meet the demand for the shortfall in rice production that will happen because of diversification in Punjab, Haryana, and Western UP.
Thank you, Dr. Saab. Thank you very much for your time, and we are happy that you clarified where ICAR stands and how technology is crucial to take it to the farmers.
Maybe there is one more point.
Are available.
Yeah, Prabhuji, maybe there is one more point which I would like to add here, and if you have time,
go ahead.
And this is about, we have there is a lot of emphasis by the government on promoting organic agriculture, and rightly so. And about 1 crore farmers are to be brought under organic farming, right? So this is important, but we have to also see that these farmers who adopt to organic farming practices, they do not use fertilizers like urea or DAP and so on and so forth, right? And therefore, these farmers do not get benefit of the subsidy that is available on the inorganic fertilizers, which other farmers are getting. So you see, on one side, the farmers who are practicing chemical-based agriculture, chemical fertilizer-based agriculture, they are also getting advantage of subsidy on urea, on diammonium phosphate, etc. But the farmers who are doing organic agriculture, they are not getting subsidy, that benefit of the subsidy. So this is one thing that I think needs to be seen, and how incentive can be given to the farmers. Some incentive is being given, about 2,000 rupees for biological component. And there also, I would like to say that, through research, it has been proven beyond doubt by multiple researchers that biofertilizers, research products, they can give about 25 to 30% nutrient in terms of nitrogen or phosphorus or potash if we use right kinds of microbes, cultures. Now, this is proven, and research product biofertilizers are available. The only casualty with biofertilizers has been their production, supply chain, quality assurance, and mostly these have been in the hands of unscrupulous people. And therefore, the impact has not been that great. Now, when organic farming is promoted, in organic farming, biofertilizer must become an integral component of this. So every organic farmer should be provided with high quality cultures of different biofertilizers. And to bring in that quality assurance, I strongly feel that, major fertilizer manufacturers, like you have IFCO, you have CRIFCO, NFL, and so on and so forth, they should be also given a target as part of their corporate social responsibility, that if they are producing X quantity of nutrition, for example, 100 kilogram of nitrogen, then 25 kilogram of that nitrogen should be produced in form of biofertilizers. And they should develop complete value chain in the states wherever they are doing marketing. So not only for organic farming, I would also say that even for the inorganic farming, biofertilizer should be an integral component. This has not happened, and this should happen, this must happen as an integral component of biofertilizers of organic farming as well as in inorganic farming, and the responsibility given to the major manufacturer, because they can make investment, they already have a value chain. They have distributors, they have dealers, they have complete supply chain. Through that, it can be made, but this should be mandated to them to produce biofertilizers of high quality. And they can get all the cultures, which are research product, with the public institutions like IRI has got done, Tamil Nadu Agriculture University has got. They don't need to invest any money in the R&D for biofertilizers. Those cultures are already available.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your time.
Okay, thank you very much.